Hey, welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you're doing well. Happy Monday, everyone. It's officially the start of the week. I hope your week has started off well. Obviously, you're on this video, so it's of course started very, very well. Today, I'm going to be discussing why I think John Mayer has the most important watch collection of all time, at least within the last 20 years for sure. I know this is probably going to be controversial. Some of you may disagree with me, but I thought I'd make it anyway. Before we get into that, if you are new to the channel, welcome to Life on the Wrist. We create videos about watches, so if you are interested in that type of content, definitely check out our other videos and hit that subscribe button so that you can see when we are uploading. Right now, you're hovering over that subscribe button. The like button is really, really close, so if you wouldn't mind hitting that for us, that would also be greatly appreciated. We're trying to grow our channel as quickly as possible and creating valuable content for you, so the best way for you to tell me if this content is useful is by subscribing and letting me know in the comment section below what type of content you want to see, so definitely do that. So getting into the topic, John Mayer is obviously someone who's very, very important within the watch collecting world, just watch world in general. If you don't know who he is, he's an American musician who's been into watches for quite a while. He makes some really great music. There are some people that for some reason have issues with it, but I really love his music. So very guitar based, and I enjoy listening to it. He also is very into watches, like I said, and I think his involvement really stemmed from his friendships with those at Hodinkee, kind of early on when Hodinkee first started. And you know, he was writing for them, he wrote a few blog posts for them, but the most obvious thing with his relationship with Hodinkee is obviously he filmed the inaugural Talking Watches episode where Hodinkee interviews individuals about the collections that they have and have amassed over the years of their watch interest. And I remember watching this video of Talking Watches and just being absolutely mesmerized by, one, the collection, and two, the way in which John Mayer talked about it. John Mayer is a very, very good storyteller. I think that's definitely something that he has a strategic advantage over a lot of people, but I was so captivated by the watches that he talked about. You know, his first watch was obviously his first great watch was an Explorer 2, but during this Talking Watches, he had a Patek 5164A travel time, he had a Batman GMT, he was super into big pilots. He's made follow-up videos with Hodinkee about the big pilot collections that have been released. And he's just really been his Talking Watches really just, you know, kind of started my whole love for watches. Definitely got me into it for sure. Just as an example, his IWC dive watch, that's very, very blue, the original Cousteau dive watch, really got me into buying this memo sale because I like that blue. And you know, I've had this for quite a while now, and obviously I like it because I still have it. So those are just ways in which he's inspired me to continue to explore watches for sure. And obviously you probably know that he's created a episode 2 of this, which was also an amazing video, but I'm talking specifically about the first episode that he did. So there are a few reasons why I think his watch collection is the most important watch collection of all time. Of course, that is his collection is the most important collection behind your own. So his collection is second to my collection. Obviously my collection is the most important because I want to buy watches that I love, and that's why I'm into this hobby. So behind me, John Mayer is definitely the most important, but there's a few reasons why. The first one is he really made talking about watches more mainstream and more accessible to a lot more people. I looked at the video today, and the video has around 1.7 million views, which is incredible, and you know, has a great amount of likes versus dislikes, and it just made talking about watches something that the masses could do and a little bit more colloquial. And it doesn't have to be about, you know, really, really expensive watches. You can do this with just about any type of watch collection. So he really made talking about watches a little bit kind of pervasive around into more people's lives, and I think started a lot of conversations within friends groups that perhaps some people wanted to have, but they didn't end up having them. So the first reason is he really made talking about watches more mainstream. The second watch is he talked a lot of, I think the best part about listening to John Mayer talk is the quotes that he says. You can quote just about anything he says, and I think one of the things that him and Ben Clymer talked about was the fact that watches are tools, and John Mayer's quote was like, "The GMT is one of the world's greatest apps. He was comparing it to the iPhone, which I think had recently become, I think it was the iPhone 4 that came out then, so a little while ago, but the GMT was the best batch. That kind of quote, and that the reason why it's important, this quote makes his watch collection really important, is because he reminded us that these watches really are just tools. They were used by divers and they had to work or things would not go well for the individual wearing that watch. So it's a reminder that watches are not just a piece of jewelry, not just a statement. They are tools and they should be used that way. So that's the second reason he reminded us that watches are tools. The third is, and I think this quote is the best, he said, "I clean up dog poop wearing a Patek." And I think that was a wonderful quote. It really made you realize that you don't have to, associate yourself with this certain type of lifestyle to wear these relatively expensive things. Watches are for the masses. Even a $50 watch is considered a luxury because your phone tells you the time. So watches really are for the masses. You wanted to make sure that it's not supposed to be something that alienates you from the rest of society. It definitely puts you into a niche where people like watches, but you don't have to buy a $40,000 watch to enjoy it. You can buy a $50 watch and realize that watches are for the masses. They're not just for a certain echelon of society. So the third reason is watches were for the masses, which I think really his watch collection has allowed for that to come about and be known by a lot more people. The fourth reason why I think his watch collection is the most important, because of his Talking Watches episode, is because he really reiterated the fact that you need to buy what you love. And I've created a video about rules when it comes to collecting watches, and that was one of my first one. Buy what you love, buy watches that really speak to you, and not ones that everyone's telling you to purchase. So the quote that he said for this was, I forget exactly which watch. I think it was a Comex Submariner. I don't remember exactly, but it was basically him saying, people aren't going to come up to him and go, "Ooh, wow, what's that?" Maybe now they will, because that watch is pretty popular. But he said it's like being a Ferrari collector and saying that you love the Ford Focus. It's that kind of just realizing that buying what you love, it makes the watch collecting journey and watch collecting in general a lot more enjoyable, as opposed to having to prove to someone else that you have a watch that they would deem as acceptable for a watch collection. So buying what you love is something that his collection really spoke to, and another reason why his watch collection is most important. And the last, and this is really kind of the most important one for me, is that he throughout this whole Talking Watches, he really reiterated the fact that watches have stories, and that is one of the things that makes them so special. So his Big Pilot, he wore touring in his early years as a watch collector and obviously a musician. He wore that Big Pilot religiously during his sets on stage. So that watch has that story that's attached to it, and in my opinion makes it a lot more valuable to him, and also anyone who may end up, if he decides to sell it, I mean that's a huge amount of value that I think it adds. So the whole idea around the fact that watches carry stories with them was really the inspiration for Life on the Wrist, and one of the reasons why we created this blog, this website, curate the collections that we do and create the videos that we do, is because these stories are the most important part about the watches. And I think the reason why this stuck with me so much is because he tells the stories so well, and I think that's just one of his fortes, and something that he does extremely well is he's able to just engage you with the stories as deeply as possible, and obviously is the inspiration behind Life on the Wrist. So John Mayer, if you are watching this, know that I'm a huge fan of yours. I've been following you for years. I love your watch collection, and thank you so much for the inspiration. You probably aren't watching this, but I will say it anyway. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't seen John Mayer's Talking Watches episode, definitely check it out. I'll put a link in the description to it. It's an absolutely great collection. Think about the reasons why, these 5 reasons why I think his collection was the most important. You'll probably pick them up as you watch the episode too. Like I said in the beginning of the video, and if you've made it this far and you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel if you are new. We upload 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you can turn on that bell icon to be notified when the videos do go live. So be sure to hit that. If you haven't hit that like button, be sure to smash it for us. It really does help us out. And with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.